Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the story What If MQB Gave Naruto the Ultimate Dojutsu Part 16. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
The following morning, while Shizune and Kurenai brought him the next pile, Naruto lazily worked behind his desk. The blonde was very busy today because he had a lot of things to do. He would have left it to his clones, but the prospect of not having anything to do compelled the blonde to do his own work. You know, Naruto-kun, you could take a break, Kurenai suggested, and Naruto smiled as he rubbed the back of his head. He rose to his feet and planted a kiss on Kurenai's cheek, causing the Genjutsu mistress to lightly blush as Naruto drew back. Yeah, I guess. Ugh, what else do I have to do today? Naruto asked, holding up a small pad. There's a council meeting later, and then you have to go to the Hyuga compound, and then you'll talk with Mizukage-sama before she leaves? Kurenai replied, and Naruto nodded. He had his clones working on his new techniques, while Mei was teaching him her Yaten style. He was relieved that she wasn't angry at him for taking her bloodline. But more than that, she seemed to enjoy it. Naruto didn't know why, but seeing Mei smile made him smile as well. She was a mystery to the blonde, but he seemed to enjoy her company. Man, that's a lot. Well, thank you, Kurenai-chan. It was great to have you read that to me, but now I have to make an important detail. Kurenai, please tell Shizune-chan to gather all the Jonin and Chunin into the meeting room in 1 hour. It's something important that I must discuss with them, Naruto told her, and Kurenai wondered what was so serious, but she quickly left the room while Naruto. I'd better tell people before something stupid happens, Naruto thought to himself as he rose from his seat and put on his Hokage hat, which was still too big for his head. Despite himself, he chuckled and looked at a picture of Minato. The blonde sighed and smiled. See, Tu-chan, I told you I'd be Hokage, but let's be honest, I couldn't have been here without Kyuubi-chan. She truly is my queen. Well, after Tsume-chan, of course, Naruto said to the picture before putting on his cage robes and leaving the room. The hospital room. All right, Kiba-san. You, Haku-san, Teuya-san, and Kimamaro-san are free to go, a nurse said, and Kiba smiled. He stretched and thanked her, as did Haku, Teuya, and Kimamaro. Man, I'm glad that shit is finally out of the way, Teuya said, and everyone else agreed before they saw Kakashi, Asuma, and Anko walk towards the Hokage mansion. Asuma, who was sighing, seemed to be comforted by Kakashi. Mama Asuma, it's not like Kurenai-san didn't like you, Kakashi said, and the bearded Jonin simply nodded before rubbing the back of his neck. But Naruto, I know he's the Hokage, but what does he have that I don't? Asuma inquired, and Anko laughed. He has Nai-chan and myself. Asuma, Naruto-kun really knows his stuff, Anko said, effectively making Asuma depressed. I'm sure he does. Hell, Yuga likes the guy and she doesn't like anyone, normally anyway, Asuma retorted, prompting Anko and Kakashi to nod before the three Jonin noticed Kiba and Haku. You were released from the hospital, Kiba? Kakashi inquired, and Kiba smirked as he raised a fist. Not enough to deter me, Kakashi-sensei. I'm just that good, Kiba said as Haku sweat dropped. Teuya rolled her eyes, and Kimamaro stood motionless. While Kakashi rubbed his head, Akamaru barked in agreement with Kiba. Sure you are. Well, in any case, we all have to get going. Naruto has summoned all the Chunin and Jonin to a meeting, Kakashi said, raising everyone's eyebrows. What does the shithead want? Teuya inquired, and everyone shrugged their shoulders, as they were as clueless as she was. Well, we won't get our answers in here, so let's hurry up and go. Hokage-sama has some very important duties to attend to, Kimamaro said to the others, and everyone else agreed. I wonder what Naruto wants. Well, let's get going you guys or we're not going to find out, Kiba said as she dashed off, Haku softly rubbing the back of her head. You take off the leash, and he runs, she said abruptly, while Teuya nodded and sighed angrily as the others walked away. Department of Cryptanalysis. While everyone was going over some important details for their research, there was a knock on the door, which caused everyone to stop working. Shizune entered after Kyuubi opened the door. Sorry to interrupt, but Naruto-kun told me where you were. Kushina-san, Shikaku-san. You are to meet with the other Jonin and Chunin in the Hokage meeting room for an announcement from Naruto-kun, Shizune said as Shikaku and Kushina turned to face each other. I'm curious what Hokage-sama could want, Shikaku said as he rose to his feet, and Kushina smiled and cast a small glare. Jonin, I'm just a Jonin. Sachai-kun, I'm going to show you how wrong you are about that rank, Kushina said darkly as she and Shikaku exited the room. Kyuubi, Nanabi, and Nibai sighed as they watched them all leave easily and return to work with Shiho on the investigation. Meeting room for the Hokage. When Kiba opened the door, he noticed the numerous Jonin and Chunin in the room. Izumo and Kotsu were the gate guards, the interrogator, Ibiki Morino, and many others. Every shinobi Jonin and Chunin rank from every department was waiting. "What do you think Hokage-sama wants with us?" one person asked another, and the person shrugged his shoulders as the conversations continued. Haku entered the room after noticing her teacher, Shizune. "Do you know what's going on, Shizune-sensei?" Haku inquired, and Shizune shook her head. It really perplexed everyone that not even Naruto's personal advisors and secretaries, Kurenai and Shizune, knew what the blonde wanted to announce. Soon after, the doorknob-twisted people watched as their young Hokage entered the room, and the blonde rubbed the back of his head in response to all of their curious stares. Tsume, Hana, Hayashi, Inoichi, Shikaku, Chusa, Shibai, Kushina, and others were among those he noticed. The blonde managed a secret wave to Haku and Kiba, who waved back before the blonde sat in his meeting room chair and looked around. He found their stares incomprehensible, but he tried his best to ignore them. Naruto even saw Sarutobi, who was supposed to be enjoying his retirement, but he was still happy. The room was silent for a few seconds as Naruto pondered his thoughts before speaking. "All right, I thank you all for coming on such short notice, but I have some news. Don't worry, we're not in trouble, at least depending on how you take this," Naruto began, leaving everyone wondering what he would say. Kushina's face was concerned, but seeing Naruto's smile calmed her down slightly. She wanted to ask what was wrong with the blonde cage, but she would find out soon enough. Hokage-sama, what's up?" someone inquired, and everyone tensed as Naruto closed his eyes. "Our security system appears to still have flaws." Akatsuki made it into the village. Naruto's words elicited murmurs from the audience, with Kiba and Haku tensing and Teuya and Kimimaro narrowing their eyes. Tsume tried to remain calm, but a small growl escaped her lips. Naruto sighed at their reactions, but held his hand up to request silence. "Don't be concerned. As you can see, I'm fine. But something unusual has occurred, and I've allowed Itachi to return to the village," Naruto said. And if people were shocked, the expressions on their faces said it all. Kakashi lowered his visible eye as people wondered what their Hokage was thinking by letting in the Uchiha clan's #1 killer. "Naruto, did he let Itachi in? But why is that?" Kiba pondered but remained silent. "Not that I doubt your judgment, Naruto-sama, but do you think this is prudent?" Shibai inquired, and Naruto intertwined his fingers before smiling cheekily. "I know you're all thinking it, but trust me on this. I'm sure having Itachi around will be more beneficial than detrimental. He should be at the compound right now, training Sasuke. No one is to attack Itachi in any way. I know you want to, but you don't. I order it as your Hokage. Itachi is to be treated as a village member." "Understood?" Naruto inquired, prompting a collective hi from everyone, and the blonde smiled. "As such, I'm going to offer Itachi the position of Tokibetsu Jonin. He could be an Anbu, but I want him to see the village before I send him away," Naruto stated, and people could understand what he was thinking. "Not that I don't think this is a good idea, but given that Itachi was a prodigy like Kakashi at a young age and will provide Konoha with more military power, don't you think we should keep an eye on him for probation?" Shizune inquired, and Naruto placed a finger to his chin. He could definitely agree to that because he found it to be true. He might be reckless and tactless, but he wasn't stupid or dumb. The blonde was aware of baseless faith, but he'd rather not have Itachi considered a prisoner, so he closed his eyes and tapped the table. "Everything is fine. I'll consider it later. Resuming your responsibilities, except for Kushina, Tsume, Hana, Shizune, Kurenai, Kiba, Haku, Teuya, and Kimimaro." Everyone left the room after Naruto told them. "What are you thinking, Naruto?" Kiba inquired, his face betraying his confusion. Haku inquired as well, and Naruto smiled. "All right, I'll tell you then," Naruto said, and everyone listened to his words as he explained his idea. And by the time the blonde was finished, he waited to see their reactions. "You do realize the chances of that happening are slim, right?" Teuya inquired, but Naruto shrugged. "Hey, just because it's low doesn't mean it's zero. Come on, we still have some time before my council meeting. Aside from that, today is moving day." Naruto made Tsume smile, and Hana and Kiba did the same. "When is moving day? Who is it for?" "Why?" Haku inquired, and Naruto smiled as he held up a document, which Haku, Teuya, and Kimimaro examined. "You intend to combine the Inuzuka and Uzumaki Namikaze clans into one compound. Is that possible?" Naruto nodded as Kimimaro inquired. "Yes, it took some effort to organize, but the Inuzuka clan members were excited to be a part of this clan." They all agreed, including Tsume-chan. "Given that running such a large compound is impossible due to my responsibilities, I decided to have 2 clan heads." Kushina raised an eyebrow as Naruto spoke. 2. Who is the second if you're the first? She inquired, despite the fact that she had a good idea of who the blonde had in mind. Of course, Tsum-chan. You should know that she is still as strong as ever, Naruto said, and Tsum placed a hand on her hip before laughing and nodding. So I'm relieved that my friend has praised me. Then we'll be relocating our compound. Should we remove anything? Tsum inquired, and Naruto shrugged. No, it's not a problem. Just wait a minute, Naruto said to her, and everyone else did as they exited the room. Along with Itachi and Sasuke, the two Uchiha brothers were sitting across from each other in a training field when Sasuke fell silent. He didn't know how to describe the feeling of having Itachi back in his life, but the young Uchiha could honestly say that he was rather happy in a way. Itachi opened his eyes to find Sasuke staring at him intently and smiled as he rose to his feet, which Sasuke reciprocated, and Itachi turned around. What exactly is the Sharingan, Sasuke? Itachi inquired, and Sasuke raised an eyebrow, wondering what this had to do with his training. But he responded nonetheless. It's a Uchiha clan Dojutsu, the fortitude that enabled us to establish Konoha as a village. Itachi frowned before poking Sasuke in the head with his 2 fingers, as he always did to make the Uchiha scowl. Wrong, Sasuke, Itachi said as he turned around. Sasuke stood to his feet and rubbed his head, while Itachi closed his eyes and smiled as the wind blew through his hair. Sasuke, the Sharingan, is a tool for the Uchiha clan. You are correct that it is our Dojutsu, but its power is useless without a wielder. If no one is throwing it, a kunai will not injure anyone. Remember, Sasuke, the Sharingan will be your best weapon, but you must train to use it to its full potential or you will fall like your father. Understood? Itachi asked, and Sasuke looked down at the ground, nodding quickly, seeing the truth in Itachi's words. I see, Sasuke said, and Itachi nodded. That's all right. Bring your kunai and come fight with me. We'll be correcting everything you had to learn as a child. Know that I will not hold back on you. Sasuke nodded as Itachi told him. Itachi could see Sasuke's taijutsu, and while it was good, it wasn't great. He was using the family taijutsu for counters and strikes. He would have to correct a lot of things, and then there was the wasting moves of chakra that Sasuke would try to do to turn the tide of a battle. It wouldn't do much good either. Itachi mentally sighed as he felt the gaze of a certain Jonin on them both while they fought. Naruto appears to have informed him of my presence. I should have expected it. Itachi paused before grabbing Sasuke's collar and hurling the brunette into the air, where he backflipped and landed growling before Itachi clapped. Okay, Sasuke, we'll start working on your Shuriken Jutsu now. Return to your house and gather your supplies. Sasuke nodded as he shunshined out of sight, and Itachi turned his head while the person shunshined to the ground. Are you going to attack me? Itachi inquired, and the figured smiled. Naruto gave me an order not to, so I can't. He said you'd be training Sasuke. All the Chunin and Jonin know you've returned. It will not be easy for you. Itachi closed his eyes as he said this. That is irrelevant to me. I just don't know how long it will be before Akatsuki finds out. I know some people will be upset. Itachi and Kakashi agreed before seeing Sasuke run towards them. Despite the situation, Itachi smiled and Kakashi glared. I hope you don't do anything stupid this time, Kakashi said, closing Itachi's eyes. Depends on what you mean by stupid, he said, drawing a slight glare from Kakashi, and Itachi wondered if Kakashi would try something before the Jonin gave an eye smile. At least you understand, Ma. I'll be there. While Sasuke approached Itachi, Kakashi said before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Kakashi-sensei, wasn't he? Sasuke inquired, and Itachi nodded while brushing his hair. Base Akatsuki. The members of Akatsuki gathered around and raised their 10 hands as usual, and before long, Kusama appeared, but everyone noticed that he was missing one person. What happened to Itachi? Kusama clenched his fists, seething at the thought. He didn't witness Itachi's death, but he knew. He just knew that his partner was gone. Forever. Pain-sama. Itachi is gone, Kusama said, and the entire group murmured. What? I was supposed to be the one who murdered his $$. Who murdered him? I want to make certain that I demonstrate the power of my art to them. Kusama remained silent as Deidara spoke, and everyone waited for him to speak before a female voice spoke up. Is there anyone who can compete with him? She inquired, and everyone held a discussion. Orochimaru, you are the most interested in Itachi's abilities, what do you think? Kakuzu asked as he brushed his hair, and the snake Sannin snickered. I know Itachi, and he doesn't go down easily. He's more resilient than I am. Tell me, Kusama, who killed Itachi? Orochimaru demanded, and Kusama growled. The Yonbai Jinchuriki, he said easily, and everyone murmured once more through the small base. And Sasori narrowed his eyes. Well, what do we do? It's obvious that the Biju are a lot more capable than we thought. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki is the Hokage, so he's probably the most powerful person in the village. He's currently protecting the Nibai Jinchuriki and the Nanabi Jinchuriki. The Rokubai Jinchuriki is nowhere to be found. Sanbai hasn't been seen, and the Ikubai is. For the time being, we stick to the plan. In 2 years, we'll act. For the time being, we observe, she said, smiling. Aside from that, none of them can beat me or Jashin-sama, and I'll crave all of their names into the blood of my scythe. Hiden said to everyone, grinning as he always did. Zetsu, how strong do you think Konoha is? Orochimaru asked, and Zetsu scoffed. Are you kidding? With the Godame Hokage gone, I think the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's influence is rather large. People were skeptical of him for a while, but it wasn't long and he fills the role well. Konoha has a treaty with Sune and Kumo. Tiri's Mizukage even went to Konoha herself. If this continues, Konoha is going to be more trouble than we thought possible, Zetsu said. He is a human. He cannot defeat a god. It's that simple. Keep observing. We will move when I see fit. Dismissed, he said, and everyone left the area before a small time warp occurred and a Tobai appeared. It appears that things are getting interesting. Perhaps I should start my own plans, but first I'll have to stop a certain someone from going to Aimgakure. His presence is not to disrupt my plan, Tobai thought to himself before disappearing. Along with Sato Saranzo, the man was perched in a treetop, surveying his followers sleeping on the ground near a fire. He had no idea where he was going, but he knew he needed to get to Aimgakure. The location where a god is blasphemed should not go unpunished, and it may be where he can take his swords. His swords, which his mother and Kami had denied him. Sato was the most powerful of his 5 brothers. They each had their own swords to practice with, but they all got into a stupid fight over who got the other swords, and their mother punished them all. Sato, on the other hand, couldn't think much. My sword of fire. I was the strongest, and to be denied what is rightfully mine will not be tolerated. Ha-chan, when I take my swords, I'm going to go back and show you just who you messed with. To those mortals who have my swords, that's fine, but they will not know the power without the light. That white light that Ka-chan bestows upon one individual. Who knows who has it? Sato said, and soon heard he tensed and rose to his feet, drawing his sword. He quickly turned his arm and slashed behind him, only to narrow his eyes as he saw his entire arm and sword pass through another person's body without causing any harm. He stood there watching himself phase through his body until the man grabbed him and smirked. Sato narrowed his eyes as the man said, "Nice welcome, you're coming with me. Get your hands off me, mortal," he said as he was sucked into a wormhole. He screamed as Tobai sucked him away. He grinned as he looked around the fire at the sleeping bandits. I'll see how this fool does, if I have an ally or just another idiot with a god complex, Tobai said before making a single hand sign. Sato cursed as he fell to the ground far from his group of followers. What the hell was that? He wondered before seeing Tobai approach him. Are you scared? Tobai inquired, and Sato simply stared at him as if he were an insect waiting to be squashed. Like you mortals could scare me. Get out of my sight right now, he said, only to look up and see Tobai had vanished and appeared behind him. You shouldn't talk like that when I have the ability to kill you, Tobai said, only to be met with a chuckle. I had heard that humans were the smartest beings on the planet, but you seem to debunk that notion. Well, I'll let you show me how useless you are, Sato said, and Tobai separated from him again. He returned to a tree and closed his eyes. Tobai charged at Sato, saying, then let's go. Kami's son did the same and charged at Tobai. The two collided in a full-fledged fight, and Sato was extremely irritable at the time because his thoughts had been disturbed earlier. He thrust his sword forward in an attempt to impale Tobai, but was surprised when his blade phased through his body, and he in turn. Tobai smiled as he passed through Sato, then kicked him, but the man saw it coming and jumped in the air. He turned to face Tobai, who looked at him as if he wasn't expecting much. Can't beat what you can't hit, right? Sato asked, his sword outlined in a dark aura as he glared at Tobai. He growled angrily at his opponent before disappearing in a blur of speed. Tobai didn't react right away, but when he noticed Sato behind him, he noticed Sato slashed at him. Sato was punched in the face and flung into a tree as his sword passed through Tobai again. He cursed and lightly brushed his lips. You just signed your death warrant, Sato said as he stood up, and Tobai closed his eyes. Not enough to scare me, he said before smirking at Sato. That fool thinks he can't be hit. Don't underestimate those who are better than you, mortal, Sato thought as he closed his eyes. The thought of time-space ninjutsu made him smile. That's right, he was aware of that type of ninjutsu, and was already looking for the best weakness in this guy. Alright, let's get moving, Sato said as he charged at Tobai once more. Tobai charged as well, and before long Sato threw his sword at Tobai, and it passed through the man's body just as he thought. Sato's smile slowed time for them both. You can't phase and attack at the same time. That's when I'll fucking cut you down. It's down to only my speed. 1 second of difference, he thought as he remembered the only man who had ever done something like this. Sato watched as his sword slashed through Tobai's body, and the son of Kami's right hand flared in a dark aura. Tobai reached out to grab Sato as his sword flashed from the dark aura. They both got closer as Tobai's arm got closer and closer to Sato's body. Sato growled and drew his charka from his sword. Tobai smiled as they were so close. "I'm not that stupid," he said as he passed through Sato's body, causing the man to gasp before rebounding and grabbing his sword. He smirked as he threw it at Tobai, who turned around and only met Sato's sword as it embedded itself in his stomach. Tobai cursed from behind his mask. "He waits for me to turn around," Tobai wondered, as Sato smiled and raised his right hand. "You're not learning anything new, let me show you," Sato said, his right hand glowing brighter in the dark aura. Tobai felt a burning sensation on his body as he watched the sword humming. "Once my sword strikes you, you are engulfed in its power, you will decay and become nothing before me," Sato said, and Tobai glared at him before closing his eyes. "Is it that simple?" he asked, and soon he was enveloped in the same wormhole as before. Sato's sword fell to the ground and lost its power influence as he stared. When he turned to see Tobai in a tree, he smiled. "Not bad. You're talented, but you're a long way from being the god you claim to be. All you have is that sword," Tobai said, as Sato glared at him. Tobai nursed his wound and sat down on a tree branch just as he was about to say something. "You team up with me," Tobai said, closing Sato's eyes. "I don't need someone like you. I could kill you, but I'd rather not," Sato replied, and Tobai grinned as he placed a hand on his head. "Ah, you're all talk and no action. Tobai doesn't like you," he said, and Sato wondered what had changed in him. "What the hell is wrong with you? Are you insane?" Sato asked as he lifted his sword from the ground, and Tobai laughed at him before he calmed down and became serious again. "Tell me what you're looking for," Tobai inquired, raising an eyebrow. "What does it matter to you?" "Don't get in my way," Sato said as Tobai rose to his feet. "What is it? I told you that I know who has your swords and where you can find the light," Tobai inquired, and he was immediately pinned to a tree because he allowed Sato to touch him at the time. Sato demanded, "Where is it? Tell me right now," but then gasped as Tobai's Sharingan began to spin. His eyes became colorless and blank. Sato let go of his arm, and Tobai smiled. "We're just going to keep you in reserve for now," Tobai said, and Sato nodded absently before being sucked into Tobai's alternate dimension. "Now then, time to go and set some things in motion, especially with Taki," Madara said before disappearing from view. He didn't care for Sato's little henchmen, but he could ignore them and no one would know what had happened. Naruto is back. All of the Inuzuka members were staring at the blonde as he closed his eyes in front of the Inuzuka compound. He turned around to face them all, while his friends and family chose to observe. "Everyone, thank you. I know we'll be a great clan. The Uzumaki Namikaze Inuzuka clan. Isn't it a great name?" Naruto asked, and some people chuckled as they nodded and their dogs barked in response to Naruto's question. But the blonde continued. "I promise that Sum-chan and I will be the best clan heads we can be. I won't let you down," Naruto said as she patted Kiba's head. "You know, chances are you and him will be clan heads together one day," Sum said, as Kiba sighed and rubbed the back of his neck. "That's right, Kasan. I'm going to get wicked strong with Naruto, and you watch when we're the best in the village," Kiba said. And Sum nodded as Naruto placed his hands on the compound before closing his eyes and touching the mic on his neck. "Fu-chan, are you ready?" Naruto inquired, as Fu and Yujiro drew seals around an open space near the Uzumaki Namikaze compound. "Ready when you're Naruto-kun," Fu said, and Yujiro agreed. Naruto smirked and nodded over the microphone. "Good." According to Tu-chan, he could not only move himself and people, but also objects with the Hiraishin. "So let's put it to the test," Naruto said as he touched the compound. Soon, the entire Hiraishin formula appeared in the air above the compound, and Naruto smiled as the compound began to draw into the seals. Everyone was astounded to see their compound vanish from view as Naruto performed a hand sign with his three-pronged kunai, together with Fu and Yujiro. As the entire Inuzuka compound appeared in front of them, the two gasped and backed away, nearly crushing them beneath its weight. Fu smiled as Yujiro sighed. "That's all," Fu said, and Yujiro nodded. She had to admit that the Inuzuka estate seemed to round out the Uzumaki Namikaze residence. It was like one large building connected to another. There was more space than they knew what to do with than usual, and this just solved a lot of problems. "No kidding. Though the thought of living with dogs my entire life is less than appealing," Yujiro said, turning around. "Don't we live with Kasumi?" she asked, and Yujiro snickered before they felt an enormous kai behind them. When they turned around, they saw Kasumi with a tick mark on her head. "Oh, so that's it?" she asked, stretching her legs while Yujiro gulped. "Oh, look at the time," Yujiro said as he dashed past Kasumi, leaving the dog girl to deal with the trembling Fu. I can explain," Fu said, but Kasumi tapped her foot on the floor, and she knew her fate. "Oh, I don't need one," she exclaimed as she rushed forward. Fu's last memory was the heavy drop kick that landed on her head, knocking her out cold. Returning to Naruto and the others, Naruto sighed as he stood in the middle of the street with the other members of the Inuzuka clan. He turned around and apologized to everyone. "Sorry guys, but I have a meeting to get to. Get yourselves settled in at the compound, which shouldn't be too difficult because Tsume, Hana, and Kiba have been there before," Naruto said before walking away with Kurenai and Shizune. Kushina and Shikaku had already returned to the cryptanalysis division. "Understood, Naruto-sama," they all agreed, and Haku smiled as she walked toward the hospital. She needed to get some medical jutsu practice in while she still could. "Well, Akamaru and I are going to train as well, and we'll be back in time for dinner, Kasan," Kiba said as he hopped to the rooftops. Hana and the Heimaru brothers following him. "Those two, what am I going to do?" "Well, whatever. I guess tonight I'll make something special since this is a good occasion," Tsume said as her clan members followed her to their new location. Though Tsume knew she had to hurry because the meeting required her presence as well. Kushina had sent a clone to the meeting so she could get back to her work, but Tsume thought she was lucky. In every way, the Inuzuka were like a second family to Naruto. When he was younger, they adored his presence. He had had a huge influence on their clan. The dogs adored him, and he had an uncanny ability to make people happy. Some were envious that he had Tsume because they desired her, but everyone understood why. Who better than the strongest female in the Inuzuka to serve as the Hokage of Konoha? Council room is back with Naruto. The blonde sighed, wishing he could personally welcome the Inuzuka to the new compound. But this was not the case as the young blonde entered the room. Except for Tsume and his mother, he saw Hayashi, Shikaku, Inoichi, and all the other clan heads. He was aware of the clone, but it wasn't the same, even if he could ignore it. He sighed as he noticed the civilian council's steely gaze on him. Certain things never change, but that was about to change. Naruto took his seat on the council and awaited Tsume's arrival. He cast a glance around the civilian council, which appeared to be waiting for something to happen. Kurenai and Shizune stood behind Naruto, sensing the atmosphere. It was suffocating, and they wondered how Naruto would handle it, but they put it aside for the time being while everyone waited for Tsume. After about 20 minutes, Tsume walked in and apologized for being late, which Naruto dismissed because she must have finished settling into the compound with her family and their canine companions. Naruto chuckled at her sheepishness but ignored it for the time being while Tsume sat. "All right then, what's the purpose of this meeting?" Naruto inquired, and everyone tensed. Shizune took a step forward as Tsume looked across the room. "Actually, Naruto-kun, this letter arrived from Taki 1 day ago. It's addressed to you and no one else. Please open and read it," Shizune said, handing Naruto the letter. Taki had been mentioned to him several times. For one thing, they were Fu's hometown and the reason she had left. 2, they were supposed Konoha allies. The blonde took the note and examined it. He sighed and read aloud, informing everyone in the room of everything. "Hokage of Konoha. Greetings, Hokage Dono. I am Taki's leader, and I would like to thank you for taking the time to read this letter. It has come to my attention that one of our shinobi has taken up residence in your village. We're sure you're familiar with the girl named Fu, and you can understand why Taki would want her back. Please consider trading Fu, our Jinchuriki, for a large sum of money that we will gladly give you. Takagekure, your ally." Naruto growled low enough so that everyone could hear him. His teeth clenched, and his nails dug into the letter's paper. The blonde felt like ripping someone's eyes out. Were they going to fucking threaten him? No way, no how. While Naruto calmed down, the council fell silent. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath before ripping the paper in half. Everyone gasped when they heard Naruto talking about the letter, and the blonde tore it up until it was nothing but sprinkles and he dropped it on his table. He jumped to his feet and slammed the table against the wall. "Hokage-sama, calm down," Shibai said as Naruto's nails clawed at the table. "Do they think they can threaten me? I'm not giving food to those assholes," Naruto yelled, and everyone agreed. "But their confidence is high. They sound ready to go to war with Konoha over this," Shikaku said, and everyone agreed. Naruto sat back in his chair, cursing. "Who the hell does this, Kyuso? How can they fight with one of the 5 great nations?" Naruto inquired, and Shibai sighed. Don't forget Naruto-san. Kiri fell to the current Mizukage and her allies when they weren't even a village. I think we should think about this carefully, Naruto-san. This is war, Shibai said, and the blonde agreed. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Regardless of how strong he was, Naruto had no prior military experience. No one is saying we should hand her over, it doesn't solve anything and makes her more vulnerable, Tsume said as everyone turned to face her. What do you mean? A civilian council member inquired, prompting Tsume to elaborate. Perhaps we all forgot, but there is a group of S-ranked criminals attacking the Biju. Taki isn't capable of fighting S-ranked criminals. Hell, they couldn't even keep track of their Jinchuriki. I, for one, am not going to stand for this, Tsume said, knowing Fu's significance to Naruto. She was one of the blonde's friends, and Tsume knew the girl was tough. So what? Do we respond by saying we'll go to war then? A civilian asked, and Naruto agreed. He wouldn't put the village in danger, but he was not going to hand Fu over to anyone. No way in hell. Naruto-sama, you have the will of fire that burns for the village. What do you think we should do? Hayashi asked, as Naruto rested his arm on the table. The blonde sighed lightly after a light grumble. He remained silent for a moment as he pondered his thoughts. Kurenai and Shizune stood there watching the blonde Hokage go over everything, and Naruto soon opened his eyes. Tell them, Naruto said, slamming his hand on the table and leaping to his feet, surprising everyone in the room. That I'm going to protect Fu and everyone else. I'm the Rokidame Hokage of Konoha, and I say just try to take her. Naruto yelled, drawing everyone's attention to him. While Shikaku rubbed the back of his head, they all felt compelled to smile. Man, so bothersome. Well, now that that's settled, what else is there? Shikaku inquired, and Naruto sat. He smiled as he turned to face the civilians. Well, we're going to drop some academy courses, Naruto said, and the civilians gasped as Naruto snickered. The blonde smiled as the shinobi side wondered what he was thinking. Kurenai-chan, no offense, but how did Shino, Sakura, and Hinata fare in your test to become actual genin? Naruto inquired, and soon all eyes were on Kurenai, who would simply tell her Hokage the truth. They succeeded, but they didn't know things they should have known, and while I was impressed with their teamwork, I still think the academy was too lenient, she replied, infuriating the civilians. Alright then, tell me someone, what are all the academy courses? Naruto asked, and Shizune stepped forward. There's shinobi tactics, history, taijutsu practice, flower arranging for the ladies, ninja tool tactics, and the study of the 3 basic ninjutsu, henge, bunshin, and kawarami, Shizune explained, and Naruto nodded. The blonde sighed deeply and nodded. Alright, we're going to change some things, Naruto said, and Sakura's mother burst out laughing. Everything is as it should be, there is no need for change, Sakuno said, and Naruto gave her a tired look. How much do you love your daughter? Naruto inquired, raising an eyebrow. What does that mean? She inquired as Naruto examined the paper. Well, according to this, I can see why Sakura was the best in books, but sucked at pretty much everything else, you know, instead of training. I think your daughter might be trying in some stupid attempt to get Sasuke to notice her. Honestly, I was thinking about taking her out of the program completely, Naruto said, and Sakuno's temper flared. What? Why? Sakura's a great kunoichi, Sakuno asked, turning Naruto around. Kurenai-chan, Naruto inquired, and the Jinjutsu mistress rose and turned to bow to Sakuno. I mean no disrespect to you or your daughter, but Sakura's taijutsu is low. It's still academy style at best. Her use of ninja tools is moderate to say the least. Her chakra control is perfect, but that's only due to her low chakra reserves, which should be much larger. I tried to teach her Jinjutsu because it doesn't require a large amount of chakra, but she doesn't practice. She'd have to talk to Sakura once this was over. Thank you, Kurenai-chan, but don't you think the academy deserves a change? Naruto asked, and everyone nodded in agreement. Based on that story, even the civilians had to agree when Naruto turned to face them. Look, I know you hate me, and I don't really care. You've all been the cause of every bad thing in my life, thanks to Tsume-chan. But I'm not going to let that sway my judgment. Tsunade Bachin left this place to me, and the daimyo of the Land of Fire trust me. I'm not failing either. This is my dream, and I want this village to prosper just as much as you. Naruto said he began writing on it while people looked on. Shizune examined the paper after the blonde handed it to her. What is this, Naruto-kun? She inquired, and Naruto smiled. He passed around a copy of the paper to everyone to look over. New Academy teachings, shinobi tactics, history, taijutsu practice, chakra exercises, affinity testing and practice, ninja tool tactics, survival training, genjutsu arts, kenjutsu arts, ninjutsu arts, fuinjutsu arts, and finally the study of 6 jutsu which are henge, bunshin, kawarami, Gakakyu technique, Cage Shuriken technique, and Ku. It sounded like proper training when they were kids. Sekuno stood up and took hold of the paper. Naruto sighed as she yelled, "Nobody can do this. It would kill them. The world isn't kind, lady. Every time you leave the village, you're exposed to anything. Death can happen in an instant. This is necessary. You'll notice I took your flower arranging out of the course," Naruto exclaimed, drawing a gasp from the audience. "Why?" asked someone, and Naruto smiled. "There is no need for it in the shinobi world. You are welcome to form a club out of it. But as far as it being a subject in school, I will flatly decline Databeo," Naruto told them as the clan heirs examined it. "Based on this, I believe we will see an increase in missions, and I agree with Naruto plan," Sans Hayashi said, and Naruto smiled. He was relieved that Hinata's father approved. He also hoped she was enjoying the taijutsu lessons he had taught her. "Me too. This is quite logical and could benefit us all," Shibai responded. Everyone on the shinobi side agreed, as did a large number of civilian council members. "All right, we'll start these up right away." "Dismissed," Naruto said, and the entire council began to leave as Naruto rose to his feet. "All right then, where is Mei-chan?" Naruto inquired, raising an eyebrow. When did it become Mei-chan?" she inquired, and Naruto blushed as he rubbed his chin. "And no reason. Just saying," the blonde said, and he felt Kurenai and Shizune stares on him as he sweat dropped. "Oh come on, cut me some slack," Naruto said, and the two stopped staring while Naruto stood up. He quickly exited the room, sighed, and continued walking with Kurenai and Shizune. Department of Cryptanalysis. "Hey guys, don't you think we should call it quits here?" Shiho asked as everyone put down their belongings. Papers and books were scattered throughout the room. Kyuubi, Nanabi, and Nibai stretched as Kushina sheathed the 4 swords and nodded. "Yeah, we'll pick up this later. Great work," Kushina said, and Shiho nodded. The 5 women exited the room and packed their belongings for the last time. Kushina expelled her clone and received all of the data. "What are we going to do, ni Kyuubi?" Nanabi asked quietly, and Kyuubi sighed. "I'm not sure," Kyuubi said, "but for the time being, these swords are Naruto-kun's. We'll just see how he does and help him where we can." Nibai licked her lips. "Oh, I'll help him right to the bed where I can." Nibai paused when she noticed Kyuubi and Nanabi staring at her and chuckled as she rubbed the back of her head before remaining silent. Shiho returned to her boss as Kyuubi, Nanabi, Nibai, and Kushina exited the department. "Ugh, I can't wait to get some sleep. It's almost night time," she groaned, and the 3 female Biju agreed as they walked towards the house compound. It didn't take long for them to arrive and see the lights turned on and people conversing. It felt like a regular festival up there. They all sighed as they noticed the extra compound. "Didn't Naruto-kun really follow through on that idea?" Kyuubi inquired, and Kushina simply nodded with a heavy sigh. She opened the door and saw Fu, Kiba, Haku, Yujito, Kasumi, and Hana talking with other members of the Inuzuka clan. Teiuya was simply outside training with someone who challenged her, while Kimimaro had most likely already gone to bed. "Kinari-san, Nana-san, come on. It's a party to celebrate our clans merging," Kasumi said as she leapt into the air. Kyuubi and Nanabi shared a chuckle at Kasumi's lighthearted demeanor. People appeared to be having a good time. Everyone turned to see a light-skinned man with purplish and white hair flowing down his back. Kasumi smiled as she wrapped her arms around him. "Glad you could make it, Tusan," she exclaimed, and Kiramaru gave a simple smile while nuzzling his daughter's neck in greeting. Because they had only seen the guy in his dog form, Kyuubi and Nanabi raised their eyebrows. Nibai appeared to back away because she has a natural cat hates dog thing. Yujito was similar, but Kasumi was more of a person and could deal with it. "It's nice to see you, Kasumi. Tell me, how have you been living with Naruto?" Kiramaru inquired, and Kasumi smiled. "It's always fun, and you know he turned me into a woman," she asked, and Kiramaru gave her a glare before giving a soft growl. Kasumi sighed and sweat dropped. She was only referring to being transformed into a half-human. What did her father interpret her words to be? "Don't growl, Mutu-san. Be happy. I love Naruto-sama," she said, and Kiramaru simply agreed. As Nibai turned her head, she noticed Anko smiling as she drank some juice. "Hey guys, how's it going?" she asked, raising an eyebrow at Kyuubi. "What are you doing here?" Kyuubi inquired as Anko wrapped her arm around the redhead's neck. "Simple, I'm going to beg Foxy-kun to join this place. You people know how to have fun, and it seems like a good idea now that I've gotten my curse mark off. It really is a good day, you know," she asked, and everyone just nodded absently. "Here, Kushina, take your shoes off and join me for a drink," Anko said, and Kushina shook her head and raised her hands defensively. "Look, I'm all for celebrating, but I'm tired and I'm going to bed, so I'm going to need you all to quiet down." Kushina said as she walked up the stairs. She could tell that with the Inuzuka around, things were going to get a lot more tense. Happiness appreciates company. Kushina shut the door to her room and lay down to sleep. She sighed and closed her eyes before hearing something break and growl. "I said quiet, Databane," yelled Kushina in her bedroom, making everyone cower before they decided to calm down enough for her to sleep. "Naruto is back." While he groaned, the blonde sighed in his chair. "Ugh, Mei-chan, that feels great. I should have gotten this years ago." "Oh man, that feels good," Naruto groaned as Mei sensually rubbed her hands. "I'm glad to help you unload your stress, Naruto-kun. Being a cage is such a demanding position," she said as Naruto sighed happily. "Oh, I know that's so true," he sighed, moaned before hearing Ao, Kurenai, and Shizune cough. Shizune asked, Naruto-kun, don't you think you're enjoying that back massage a little too much?" Naruto sighed. "Not really," he said before Mei came to a halt. The blonde cracked his back because it felt so much better than going without one of Mei's massages. "Ah, that felt great, Databeo. Now, if I agree, what would you like to propose for this alliance?" Naruto asked, and Mei smiled at his cuteness. He simply possessed a certain amount of power that older women seemed to admire. "Well, Naruto-kun, in exchange for an allegiance to Kiri, you'll be able to trade along our routes whenever you or your shinobi feel the need, and we'll be able to use your trading routes. We share techniques between each other's villages. No secrets are kept," Mei said, raising an eyebrow. "Well, I'm sure you have some things that you would want in this village. But what could I want with Kiri?" Naruto asked, and Mei smiled. Al wondered if all the youth were this disrespectful. But he needed to remember that Naruto and Mei shared an equal status, which made them both the people that they were. "Well, Naruto-kun, since you acquired my yachten during this little trip, I think it's only fair that we exchange scrolls. Some we want and some I've made," Mei said, and Naruto smiled. "Well, I'll admit that the yachten is ridiculously cool," Naruto said, and Mei smiled as her visible eye calmed down. She then smiled as she leaned against Naruto's desk. "You could also have me anytime," she said, causing everyone in the room to blush. Naruto's face twitched slightly as he lost ground in this minor brawl. The blonde exclaimed, his gaze following Mei's form. It wasn't like him to stare, but he'd have to be dead not to notice how beautiful she was. I don't think that's." Naruto paused when Mei touched his chin. She laughed and looked past Naruto to see Kurenai staring at her before smiling. "You did tell me about the CRA, and I don't mind sharing anyone as long as they love me unconditionally. So do we have a deal, Naruto-kun?" Mei asked, and the blonde mentally gulped before smirking. "All right," Naruto said, widening everyone's eyes. Mei appeared stunned, despite the fact that she was only joking, but Naruto's smile widened. "Sure, I'll admit it, Mei-chan. You are a very attractive woman. And any guy would be stupid not to notice that," Naruto said as Ao sucked his teeth. "Damn playboy," he thought to himself before meeting Mei's gaze. "Ao, shut up or I'll melt you," she said, causing Ao to sweat drop before quickly nodding as Mei turned around. "However, I have one condition," Naruto said, tensing up the entire room. As he described his condition, the blonde mentally chuckled. Mei, Ao, and Chijiro exited the room, the former sporting a large blush on her face and a slight giggle. The treaty agreement was on the table, and Naruto smiled as Kurenai and Shizune looked at him incredulously. "You are tough to negotiate with, Naruto-kun," Shizune said, and the blonde smiled. "Well, I'm not the Hokage for nothing, Shizune-chan. And by the way, did you respond to Taki?" Naruto inquired, his gaze growing cold. Kurenai sighed as Shizune nodded. "Are you going to tell her?" Kurenai inquired, and Naruto rubbed his chin. "I will, because she will need to know what is about to happen. I just hope this doesn't bite us in the buttocks later," Naruto said to them as he rose from his desk and walked home with Shizune and Kurenai. The following morning, Naruto groaned as he got out of bed. He turned his head to meet the rays of sunlight, if there were any. The sky was cloudy, and it appeared that it would rain later. Naruto didn't mind the rain at all, but the prospect of getting his clothes wet wasn't appealing. Before he could get to his feet, the blonde heard a shift in his bed. He turned around to see Tsume sleeping peacefully with her head on his stomach. Naruto smiled and lightly stroked her hair, causing Tsume to shift slightly but not much more. Naruto carefully placed her back on the bed's pillow and looked out the window so as not to wake her up. He could see the vast tracts of land that his clan had acquired since the Uzumaki Namikaze alliance with the Inuzuka. Buildings of all shapes and sizes had taken up large swaths of what was once open space. As he walked to the shower, Naruto smiled and yawned. "I think I should tell Fu-chan what happened later. It wouldn't be good to keep this a secret from her," Naruto said as he hopped into the bath, unaware that the warm water was waking up someone else. Tsume opened her eyes and leaned up from the bed she shared with Naruto. She could hear the water running and knew the blonde was already up and about. The second clan head to the Uzumaki Namikaze and Yuzuka compound was already a morning person, so this didn't bother her. She considered going in to have some fun with her friend, but a knock on the door seemed to change her mind. Tsume stood up and dressed herself in the bed sheets as a temporary robe because she slept naked. She quickly opened the door and noticed one of her female clan members, Sayuri and Yuzuka, bowed behind it. "Good morning, Tsume-sama. I'm here to speak with both you and Naruto-sama about some things," Sayuri said, and Tsume titled her head to the side and was about to respond when the door opened and Naruto emerged with a towel on his head. Naruto, obviously unprepared for company, was exposing a certain part to both females before noticing anything. Sayuri's face reddened like a rose as she looked at the ground, prompting Tsume to snicker. Hokage-sama, Sayuri said, and Naruto turned to see the two female and Yuzuka scrutinizing him before the blonde gasped. "Ah, what are you doing here?" Naruto exclaimed as he dashed back into the bathroom to retrieve another towel. Tsume chuckled and invited Sayuri in, while Naruto emerged from the house with a new towel wrapped around his waist. While Sayuri coughed and held up a note, he rubbed the back of his head and lightly chuckled. "I was told by Kushina-sama to give you this," Sayuri said, and Naruto nodded as he took the note and read it while Tsume looked over his shoulder. It was a simple list of training regimens for clan members as well as the installation of jutsu scrolls, weapons, and other items in the vault. I guess that's true. Alright, thank you Sayuri-chan. You can go back now," Naruto said as Sayuri bowed and left the room as Naruto sat on the bed and rubbed his hair. Tsume sat next to him, nudging his shoulder with a smile. "Is there something wrong?" she asked, nuzzling her neck against his, and Naruto chuckled and shook his head. "No, not really. Just thinking about some things." Naruto asked, "Are you ready to begin the first full day of the new clan?" Tsume nodded. They each dressed, and after a quick kiss, the two left their room and began their descent down the stairs. Naruto chose not to wear his black jacket this time, instead opting for a dark orange shirt, black jeans, and the standard Hokage cloak. "Good morning," Naruto said as members of the new clan greeted their clan leaders. Everyone waved and bowed to the two, and Naruto admitted that there were a lot more people than he expected, but he didn't mind. He even noticed most members' dogs outside, enjoying the fresh air. "Good morning, Naruto," Kiba said as he high-fived his best friend. Naruto grinned and followed suit. "Doing well, but I'll have to head to the Hokage mansion and get some work done. Judging by the mess you all made last night with that party, I'm assuming you cleaned up?" Naruto asked, to which most of the audience chuckled and nodded. Naruto sighed and sat in a specific chair, and Kasumi soon approached him and smiled as she sat on his lap. "Good morning, Naruto-sama," Kasumi said, chuckling as he stroked her cheek. "Good morning, Kasumi-chan," Naruto said as he noticed all the other members arrive. Teuya, Kimimaro, Haku, and Fu all made their appearances. Naruto took a longer look at Fu than the others, sighed, and clapped his hands. He was about to say something when his stomach grumbled, causing the clan's first leader to laugh. "I'll make us some breakfast. Naruto-kun, now might be a good time to tell the clan about the problem at yesterday's meeting," Tsume said as she and Kushina walked into the kitchen, Haku trailing behind them. "Did something happen, Naruto-sama?" someone inquired, and the blonde sighed for who knows how long before turning to Fu. "Fu-chan, come here for a minute," Naruto said as she approached him. Everyone appeared perplexed, and while Naruto didn't want to start the day worrying, he knew it was better to get this out in the open now. "Did something happen, Naruto-sama?" Kimimaro inquired, and Naruto nodded. He got to his feet and decided to say something. "I received a letter from Taki yesterday," Naruto said, widening Fu's eyes. Teuya and Kimimaro both narrowed their options. Tsume, Kushina, and Haku cast a glance at Naruto as he spoke with the Uzumaki Namikaze and Yuzuka clan members, but continued to work on preparing breakfast for Naruto and the clan members. Fu's face flushed at the thought of Taki. She'd often wondered why no one knew she was in Konoha, but she hoped it would stay that way. Unfortunately, that did not appear to be the case. "What's the big deal about a simple letter?" Sayuri asked, and the majority of the members agreed with her while Naruto finished. "I was told to hand Fu over to Taki or they would retaliate against Konoha," the blonde said, drawing gasps from the audience. Haku paused his cooking and turned to face Tsume and Kushina, who nodded as someone rose to their feet. "No way. They can't threaten us. Who the hell do they think they are?" exclaimed a middle-aged man, and Kiba agreed. "Didn't you say no, Naruto?" Kiba inquired, and the blonde closed his eyes as he turned to face Fu. "Fu-chan, I denied their letter, and they're coming here to discuss terms of your allegiance. Tell me, Fu, what do you want to do?" Naruto inquired, and Fu gulped. While everyone waited for her words, she looked down at the ground. She turned around to see Kyuubi, Nibai, and Nanabi staring at her. Nanabi gave her a small smile, and Fu returned it. I'm in Uzumaki Namikaze, and my allegiance is to Konoha and the Uzumaki Namikaze and Yuzuka compound, Fu said, and Naruto grinned as he hopped to his feet and slammed his hand on the table. We always look out for our own. No one threatens us. We are all family, isn't that right? Naruto asked, to which the crowd applauded and the dogs barked. Hai, they all exclaimed, and Naruto turned his head with a smile. Fu-chan, I want you and Kiba to be in the Hokage mansion with me when they arrive. Teuya, Kimamaro, you are to survey the rooftops for anything strange. Notify me if anything happens, understood? Naruto asked, and the four nodded before the blonde turned to Yujiro, who was sitting on the floor with Anko. He sighed as he looked at his two students. Anko-chan, this is a clan matter, you know, Naruto explained as Anko rose to her feet. She wasn't dressed in her usual trench coat or mesh armor, but her hair was down due to the pineapple formation. She was dressed in a purple kimono similar to Fu and Haku's. She held a small box in her hands and soon smiled. I know Gaki, which is why I decided to do this yesterday, Anko said as she knelt in front of Naruto. The blonde, like the rest of the clan, widened his eyes. He gave Anko a small, playful glare as she gave him a cheeky smile. Naruto-sama, I, Anko Mitarashi, swear on my life to dedicate my services to the Uzumaki Namikaze and Yuzuka clan. I beg to join this clan and use all of my abilities for its benefit. Please accept this token of my loyalty, Anko said as she handed the blonde the book. Most people couldn't believe it was the same woman whose name didn't have a feminine side. But she looked so cute in that outfit. Naruto smiled as he took Anko's box and opened it. When he noticed a single scroll in it, he narrowed his eyes. He quickly took it in his hand and found a small note on it. Within this scroll are the teachings of a new type of jutsu that I've attempted to create, which I call Chitin. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he read the entire note. Chitin is a new technique. Naruto had never considered using blood in this manner, but Anko seemed like the type of woman who would. Naruto laughed as he took the scroll. Anko Mitarashi, please stand, Naruto said, and she did. While Naruto grinned, everyone looked on with mixed emotions. I have no complaints. Anko, you have always been a good student of mine. Welcome to the Uzumaki Namikaze and Yuzuka compound, Naruto said before Anko could jump for joy. That's my vote, but now that we have two clan heads, Tsum-chan must talk to you as well, Naruto said. And all eyes were on Tsum, who was putting food on the table alongside Kushina and Haku. The matriarch narrowed her eyes as she looked at Anko. Anko followed suit, and soon everyone could feel the tension in the air as Tsum cackled. I have no complaints if you don't, Naruto-kun, Tsum said, and Naruto nodded as Anko smiled. She then proceeded to hug Naruto to death while the blonde gasped for air. Soon after, there was a knock on the door, which surprised everyone, and Kiba opened it. What are you doing here, Kakashi-sensei? Kiba inquired, and Kakashi rubbed the back of his head and smiled with a sweat drop at the sight of all the Inuzuka and Uzumaki Namikaze members gathered around the house. I came to speak with Hokage-sama, is he here? Kakashi inquired, and Naruto emerged from behind Kiba. What is it, Kakashi? Naruto inquired, and Kakashi knelt in the blonde's ear and whispered. Naruto raised an eyebrow before groaning and shaking his head. All right, I'm coming. For now, just keep her in the Hokage mansion, Naruto said, and Kakashi nodded as he shunshined out of sight as Naruto closed the door. What was it about Naruto-kun? Hana inquired, and the blonde chuckled. It appears that Sakura discovered Itachi and attempted to attack him. They have her contained and waiting for me to deal with it. Looks like I won't be getting breakfast, Naruto chuckled, and some people sighed and shrugged their shoulders as the blonde put on his shoes and sighed. Well, I'm off. I won't give the clan a mission because you're all settling in. But be sure to be on time once you're done, Naruto said as he quickly hurried out of the house, leaving mostly everyone else to their own devices. The Hokage mansion. Naruto's sudden appearance stunned nearly everyone in the room. He quickly assessed the situation and noticed Sakura was tied to the ground. Itachi and Sasuke were sighing and rubbing their chins, while Kurenai and Shizune were simply waiting for their Hokage, who arrived. While Naruto spoke, Kakashi appeared to be reading his book on the ledge. Wonderful, just what I wanted to be called for. Alright, what happened here? Naruto inquired, and Sakura growled. I was trying to save Sasuke-kun from his traitorous brother, thinking he would want him dead. I saw the two fighting and thought Sasuke-kun would want some help. Then Anbu were telling me not to fight him, but I thought Sasuke-kun was in trouble so I did anyway, Sakura explained. And Naruto's sweat dropped. He moved his gaze to Itachi and Sasuke. I was teaching Sasuke how to properly wield the Sharingan, and he has made some progress, but I know he can make more. I saw this girl here trying to attack me and figured she misunderstood, and both Sasuke and I tried to explain. But she wouldn't listen, Itachi explained, and Sasuke nodded. Sakura sighed and rose to her feet. Naruto, don't you know who this is? It's Itachi Uchiha, the murderer who killed off the entire Uchiha clan, Sakura said, and everyone looked at Itachi, who barely showed a reaction. But Naruto and Sasuke could see the very small bit of remorse on his face while the blonde turned back to Sakura before Kakashi spoke. Calm down, Sakura. Remember who you're talking to here. He's not just Naruto anymore, Kakashi warned. But Sakura ignored him. I still don't accept it, Sakura said, causing everyone's eyes to narrow and Naruto to sigh. Well, set that aside. Itachi, release Sakura. Sakura, stop attacking Itachi. I allowed him to return to the village. I gave the Anbu, Jonin, and Chunin orders not to attack Itachi unless I command it, Naruto said, as Sakura narrowed her eyes. Is this deliberate? Sakura asked as she slammed the table, earning her 2 Anbu with their weapons to her throat and stomach. Everyone in front of Naruto flinched, and the blonde rose to his feet. Bird, boar, you can go back now, Naruto said, and the 2 Anbu quickly left, allowing Sakura to breathe freely while Naruto rose to his feet. Think what you want, Sakura, but it's my decision, get over it, Naruto said, and Sakura growled but nodded. Naruto sighed and slumped in his chair, his gaze fixed on Sasuke and Itachi. How does it feel to be back in the village, Itachi? Naruto asked, and Itachi closed his eyes but smiled. I really don't know. Nothing that I wanted happened, but I'm happy. I have my little brother, and most people don't see me as a traitor, just the person who got the short end of the stick, Itachi replied, drawing a snicker from Naruto and a reluctant one from Shizune and Kurenai. I see, that's good. Now, Itachi, you should know that Sasuke is under Genma's instruction. I'd rather not change that, but for now, why don't you train Sasuke alongside Genma? It's what the team always wants, right? Naruto asked, glaring at Sasuke, and the Uchiha growled. HMPH, he replied, making the others laugh as Shizune placed a piece of paper in front of Naruto. Its purpose was to regulate the income of shops throughout Konoha to buy and sell. Naruto stomped it down and looked out the window. When he saw thunderclouds forming, he narrowed his eyes. Shizune-chan, Kurenai-chan, you should both go home today because I'm giving you the day off, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow. Not that I don't appreciate it, Naruto-kun, but why? She asked, and Naruto's slight stare unnerved her slightly. Just something tells me that people should stay inside for today. Maybe it's just a simple intuition, Naruto said, and he smiled as a sudden rush of chakra passed through his body. You know, having to repeat this process is annoying, Naruto said, and Kyuubi smiled as she surveyed the mindscape. It felt strange to be back after so long, but she found it reassuring. Don't worry about it, Naruto-kun, just go with the flow, Kyuubi said, and the blonde simply nodded his head as he felt a sense of calm over his office. That is, until there was a knock on the door. Come in, Naruto said, and Kiba immediately appeared with Haku. Team 7's 3 members had gathered around Naruto's office and simply decided to spend some time together. You know, it's strange. Here we all are and there's nothing to do. Isn't that right, Akamaru? Kiba asked, as the dog barked and Haku looked out the window. It's going to rain, she said, nodding as Naruto took out a scroll. He smirked as he quickly slid it over the table. I suppose, but being together like this isn't so bad, Naruto said solemnly. And Kiba lowered his gaze. Yeah, I felt the same way. What do you think it is? Kiba inquired, and his 2 companions shook their heads before another knock on the door. Come in, Naruto said, and Tenten and Ino soon followed, spotting Kiba but not attempting to tackle him as they had in the past. Is there anything I can help you two with? Naruto inquired, and Tenten smiled. Do you think I could use the den in the lower level of the Hokage mansion, Naruto-san? It would be perfect for forging some weapons that I have ideas for, Tenten asked, raising an eyebrow. He wondered what she was up to, but all he could do was nod and watch Tenten leave. How about you, Ino? Naruto asked, and before he knew it, Ino was sitting on Kiba's lap, smiling. I just wanted to spend some time with Mr. Sexy here, she explained, and Kiba groaned, rubbing the back of his head as the lights went out. Everyone exclaimed as Naruto rose to his feet. What happened? Naruto inquired, and everyone was at a loss for words before the lights were turned back on. Weird, Kiba commented, and Naruto soon turned his head to see his swords in the air. They swayed and became stuck to the ceiling. Naruto cocked his brow before lowering them and placing them by his side. Something is definitely wrong. I just know it, Naruto said to himself, unaware of how correct he was. In collaboration with Kobayashi, the former Inuzuka president was sprinting through the trees. He and Ayaka were antsy for a fight. After having their bodies enhanced, they knew exactly who to test it on. It wouldn't be long now, just until late at night. Ayaka, hurry up, we don't have all day. Kobayashi said, well, we do, but I'm not spending it trying to get to Konoha. Ayaka sighed as she fell to the ground. Calm down, Kobayashi-kun. It's not like he'll be able to beat us anyway. Do you know how crazy you are just because you're at Curse Stage 2? If you went to your third one, I doubt Konoha would be left standing, Ayaka said, and Kobayashi stood up and punched a tree, causing it to crumble towards the ground. He smirked and grinned maniacally. That brat, he dared to hold back on me. I'll fucking rip his legs from his body and harvest them for Orochi Pedo, Kobayashi said as Ayaka took a breather before hearing her mate speak. What do you mean hold back? Ayaka inquired, and Kobayashi smiled. But he was raging on the inside. He didn't fight me seriously because he was protecting the pup and his friends, Kobayashi explained before Ayaka growled. Do you really believe that? Someone inquired, and Kobayashi turned around to see Tobai approaching him. What the Inuzuka didn't realize was what the mysterious man desired from him. Now I see a guy with a weird-as mask. You'd think I'd be used to this shit by now. Kobayashi rubbed the back of his neck, while Tobai simply stared at him. You seem to be underestimating the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. If you fight him, don't hold anything back because he will most likely end you if you don't stop him, Tobai said, and Kobayashi simply chuckled before throwing a kunai at Tobai. As Kobayashi and Ayaka watched the kunai phase through his body and strike the tree behind him, the mysterious man did nothing. Impressive, but I don't need your help. I'm going to rip that brat apart so you don't have to worry about him, Kobayashi said, but Tobai only shook his head. It's not me who has to worry about him. I won't tell you what that means. I just think you should be cautious of him. And why don't you do something for me? Tobai asked, and Kobayashi glared at him. Oh, and why should I do shit for you? Tsume was the last person to ask me that, and I wound up in the hospital, Kobayashi replied. With the most perverted smile on your face, Ayaka continued, while Kobayashi simply huffed at her. Think of what I want to know is insurance. I have a certain man in my possession. Here, I'll show him to you, Tobai said as he warped the time-space dimension with his Sharingan, causing Sato Soranzo to appear before Ayaka and Kobayashi. Inuzuka, the rogue, looked him up and down. He noticed Sato's blank expression and realized he was being controlled. Aw, scary. That's why I don't like the Sharingan. Too possessive. I knew I'd seen his ass before. So he went and got his pathetic self captured, huh? Kobayashi responded, and Sato drew his sword and drew it up to his throat, threatening the Inuzuka. Who do you think you're insulting, you pathetic human? Sato said monotonously as Tobai patted his shoulder. Now, Sato, that's for another time. May I then ask for your cooperation? Tobai inquired, and Kobayashi snickered. It depends on what it is. Are you going to tell me? Kobayashi inquired, and Tobai closed his visible eye. Simple, you're going to find the light, Tobai said, and both Kobayashi and Ayaka raised an eyebrow. Tobai turned to Sato and asked, what kind of stupid thing is the light? Explain it to them, Tobai said, and Sato simply nodded impassively and emotionlessly. Yes, master. The light. It is Kasan's, or as you humans call her Kami's, power. Every 1,000 years she sends it to a new individual, whether it be human, animal, or inanimate object. This power is very unique. While it is only a fraction of Ka power, sans to humans it is overwhelming. I've only seen it once. The human glow in white fire. Their eyes take the shape of seriousness and their power is amazing. Tobai's eyes narrowed as Kobayashi whistled. That was some pretty exciting shit right there. I see. Impressive. I'll keep an eye out for it. What makes you think it's in Konoha? Kobayashi inquired, as Sato stared at him. Because it is that place that has the most peace, Sato explained, and Kobayashi had no idea what he meant. He simply nodded. All right, let's go wild, he exclaimed, jumping off, and Ayaka followed. Tobai quickly removed Sato from the scene and then vanished. I think I'll offer my assistance as well, he thought to himself before leaving. Konoha at night with Naruto. The blonde was currently standing outside. It appeared that he was mistaken, as it did not rain, but he still noticed that the clouds dominated the sky, so he was simply bored. He sighed as he looked up at the sky from the rooftops. Not much happened today, Naruto reflected before hearing clattering. When he looked up, he noticed Kasumi smiling at him. What are you doing up here, Naruto-sama? Kasumi inquired, and the blonde shrugged his shoulders as Kasumi lay next to him, her tail lightly brushing against his leg as usual. Do you think something will happen? Kasumi inquired, and Naruto nodded. It was late, and the village was dozing off. Even those in his compound had retired for the night. He had no idea why he was staying awake, but it felt good to breathe in the moist night air. I do, but I'm not sure if it's good or bad. Between this and Taki's mess, I'm not sure what I should do, Naruto said before Kasumi simply smiled and turned her body to sit on top of him. Naruto looked at her as she quickly pressed her lips against his. Naruto was taken aback by the action before simply submitting. Take a walk with me, Naruto-sama, Kasumi said, quickly grabbing Naruto's arm and leading him away from the compound. Kasumi stretched her legs as the two continued walking. I don't know what will happen, Naruto-sama, Kasumi said, but I trust you with everything, so you should do the same with us. I'll always fight with you. Naruto chuckled and placed a hand on his hip. Since when did you become the dependable one? Naruto inquired, and Kasumi blushed and sheepishly rubbed her head. Since I came to love you a lot, Kasumi said, stretching her arms to emphasize her point, and Naruto simply thanked her while watching her run around. As the wind blew, the two came to a small clearing near the village. Kasumi shivered slightly, and Naruto chuckled, but they let the silence soothe them. That was until a Kai flooded the entire field. Kasumi instinctively growled as Naruto narrowed his eyes. Wow, Ayaka, she looks exactly like you, Kobayashi said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes as he moved his gaze to the far right, aware that Kobayashi was behind him. Kasumi noticed his words and turned to face the black-haired dog next to him. She appeared to snicker and smile. I remember having a girl before I left, so I guess it's the same pup, she said, rising to her feet. Naruto turned around, growling. How's life treating you, brat? Kobayashi asked as Naruto turned around. His Hokage cloak flailed in the breeze, and his eyes hardened. How the hell did you get into my village? Naruto inquired, and Kobayashi shrugged. Oh, killed an Anbu or two and one little Chunin. Nothing major, he explained, balling his fists as Ayaka vanished in smoke. Her black hair shimmered down her body as she transformed into a human. Kasumi's eyes widened, and Ayaka smiled. So you're my daughter? No, you're the result of my folly with Kuramaru. By the way, where is he? I don't meet my ex-mate every day, Ayaka said, and Kasumi looked at her mother. She clenched her fists and widened her eyes. I've always wanted to meet you, Kasama, Kasumi said, and Ayaka snickered as Kobayashi wrapped his arms around Ayaka's form. I see. Well, here I am, my daughter. Why don't you give your mother a hug? Ayaka inquired, and Kasumi shuddered. She could feel her mother's kai directed at her, and it made her shiver. She opened her eyes to see Naruto in front of her after hearing a sound. You're not going anywhere near Kasumi-chan, Naruto said, raising an eyebrow from Ayaka. Oh, if it isn't the brat from last time who stole your wife's heart, Kobayashi, Ayaka remarked, and Kobayashi chuckled as he placed a hand on his hip. Tell me, brat, how was she? I taught her everything she knows, Kobayashi said before blocking a punch from Naruto, who growled at him. Don't even bring up Tsum-chan, yelled Naruto, and Kobayashi snickered as his curse mark appeared on his body. Yeah, let's pick up where we left off, Kobayashi said before kicking Naruto across the face and launching the blonde into the clearing. Naruto-sama, yelled Kasumi, only to see Ayaka in front of her. Let's see how much Kuro-chan has taught you, she said as Ayakamaru, her mother, the one who should love her, kicked Kasumi across the face, sending her crashing through the plains. When Naruto saw Kasumi, he jumped to his feet and growled. While Kobayashi appeared next to him, he cursed and balled his fists. Are you not going to do anything? He asked, and Naruto responded with a punch. Kobayashi smirked and swung his right leg at Naruto's face, blocking the hit. When the blonde saw it coming, she leapt into the air. For Tsum's sake, Chan's, I'm not letting you go, Naruto exclaimed, and Kobayashi nodded. Very good, brat, he said before being slammed by one of Naruto's feet and sliding back. He snickered slightly, but it vanished when he saw Naruto's eyes. In a fit of rage, the blonde flashed his Shinsenagon, while Kobayashi grinned. Yeah, let's go wild, he exclaimed before speeding away. Naruto growled and followed suit. The sounds roared as the two punched and kicked each other across the plains. Together with Kasumi, the dog girl sighed and wiped her brow. Kasumi growled as she noticed Ayaka slowly approaching her. Why? She inquired, and Ayaka came to a halt. Why did you leave Tucson? Why are you acting this way? Kasumi inquired, and Ayaka chuckled. Simple. He wasn't strong enough. He's a weak mate, and the fact that I was even attached to him sickened me. You have his eyes. I always hated them, she said, her canines flashing. Ayaka grinned disapprovingly. Oh, you're going to fight your mother. How can you beat me? Ayaka inquired, and Kasumi rose to her feet. She turned around with a snarl. She smiled as she saw Naruto and Kobayashi fighting. She sighed as she tapped her foot on the ground. Because I have something I love more than you, Kasumi said, and while Ayaka was stunned, she took the opportunity to assume a Jonin stance that Kyuubi had taught her and quickly vanished in her speed. Ayaka jerked awake and quickly blocked a kick to the face. It was heavy, strong, and bone-crushing, but she could handle it. Kasumi's eyes widened as Ayaka grabbed her leg and flung her into the air. You need to know your place, TSGA, she yelled, spinning violently at her daughter. Kasumi quickly regained her footing in the air and saw her mother approaching. Kasumi closed her eyes and directed chakra to her feet. She managed to spin her body and yelled despite her efforts. Konoha Senpu, she exclaimed as she slammed her foot into Ayaka's head. Kasumi was ripped apart and sent flying towards the ground with a crash after the two collided. Ayaka smirked and fell as well. Not enough to stop me, Musumi, she said, growling at Kasumi. Naruto and Kobayashi are present. While Naruto threw a kunai at Kobayashi, the two were still fighting. The Inuzuka quickly deflected it into the air, allowing Naruto to backflip away. Awa, come on, where are those awesome techniques you used the last time? Keeping them in reserve isn't nice, Kobayashi said, drawing a snort from Naruto. Neither is leaving your wife, Naruto said, causing Kobayashi to chuckle, but he ignored it. Whatever you say. Now then, TSGA, yelled Kobayashi as he charged Naruto. The blonde made no move and simply opened his palm. Unlike the last time, no one was around, so he could do it without fear. The blonde yelled as he quickly formed the blue sphere in his hands. Rasengan, Naruto yelled, colliding with Kobayashi. Before an explosion erupted over the plains, the two growled. Compound Uzumaki, Namikaze, and Yuzuka. Sume opened her eyes and realized she was the only person in the bed. Naruto was not present. She sighed and yawned briefly before turning to face the window. Sume narrowed her eyes as she heard a small explosion. As she opened the window, it grew into a large one. What was that? She wondered as she sniffed the air and clawed the windowsill. Sume yelled, Kobayashi, and stormed out of the room. She dressed quickly and dashed down the stairs. Wake up, she exclaimed, turning on the lights. People turned on their lights as her voice rang out throughout the compound. Some grumbled as they emerged from their rooms. What's up, Kasan? Kiba inquired, and Sume growled. Kobayashi has arrived, she announced. The Inuzuka clan screamed and growled, but Haku seemed more focused. The guy from the last mission. Wait, where is Naruto-kun? She inquired, but no one could detect him in the compound. Sume immediately took charge after everyone gasped as they turned their heads to see the small explosions in the distance. Kushina, gather the Anbu. Kiba, Haku, gather the Jonin. Everyone moved to that location. Naruto-kun is fighting Kobayashi, Sume said as they raced through the compound. Kushina left the house to collect the Anbu, as did Kiba and Haku. Sume and Kuramaru dashed out the door and toward Naruto's location. Naruto-kun, please be okay, Sume begged herself, not wanting to lose her first true mate who loved her. Naruto is back. As Kobayashi avoided his Katen jutsu, the blonde cursed. This was clearly not working. He soon fell to the ground, sighed, and took a breath. Naruto breathed a little easier as Kobayashi asked, and one of his eyes changed, quickly taking the form of his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and Shinseinagan. Kobayashi snickered as Naruto did a sequence in which his entire left arm glowed in chakra as the blonde sighed. I'll put an end to you right now, Naruto yelled, and Kobayashi snickered, but before he could respond, Naruto slammed him in the face with all the rage he could muster, sending Kobayashi flying. Naruto's use of Tsunade's strength technique was still shaky, but he would have to correct it later. Kobayashi winced as he felt the sharp pain, but he managed to do a backflip and mitigate the damage while Naruto appeared behind him. When did you? He didn't finish as Naruto kicked him into the air, and the blonde didn't let up as the sands began to swirl around him, encasing Kobayashi inside. Sabaku Kaio, Naruto yelled, but he didn't finish because the blonde only made one hand sign. Heijutsu, Sensatsu Suish, Naruto yelled as he hurled the flying needles into the sand, where they embedded themselves, before closing his hand. Sabaku Soso, Naruto yelled, and the sand imploded, trapping Kobayashi inside. The blonde narrowed his eyes before turning around, glaring at Inuzuka, who had evaded his attack and was lying on the ground. Where is the fire? Where did you get that damned fire? Brat, show it to me. Naruto narrowed his eyes and took off his Hokage cloak, dropping it to the ground and standing in his regular clothes, quickly going through his hand signs and taking a deep breath. Katen, Raika no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, sending the blazing fire across the plains while Kobayashi jumped up to avoid it. He noticed Naruto take out a kunai and throw it at him, but failed to see the smile on Naruto's face. The blonde vanished in the Hurricane, shocking Kobayashi and quickly appeared behind him. Udama Rasengan, Naruto yelled, slamming Kobayashi with it, sending him across the plains and into the forest while Naruto dropped to the ground, grinning madly, but he needed to check on Kasumi. Together with Kasumi, the dog girl was still fighting, but she was clearly outmatched by her mother as Ayaka sent Kasumi to the ground with a hit, causing Kasumi to gasp and fall down while cursing. "Come on, lady. You're not finished yet, are you?" Kasumi cursed before smirking, quickly flipped her body and kicked Ayaka in the face, sending her into the sky. Kasumi sighed and jumped in the air, appearing behind her mother and grabbing her arms. "There are many things you don't know about me," Kasumi said as she began spinning. "Almost renge," she yelled, sending them both crashing to the ground. Ayaka gasped at her daughter, but soon snickered as she used the spinning and made it more violent with her TSGA. "Not enough, girl," she grumbled, sighed, and quickly crossed her fingers. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," she yelled, creating a single clone that surprised Ayaka. "So, my daughter can use ninjutsu. That's very nice. I didn't think we'd be able to use ninjutsu," Kasumi snorted as Ayaka spoke. "We simply cannot. I'm the only dog who can do it, and you know why. It's because I was looking for something. I wanted to have a family with Naruto-sama, so I gave up half of my dog blood to become half human. I'm not like you." Kasumi widened her eyes at her mother as her eyes turned red and her hair turned into needle-like threads. And Ayaka growled before chuckling and her hair became wilder. "No, I'm not like you. Kasumi, I'm a strong woman. Don't worry, I'll take care of that brat. He'll make a fascinating toy." Kasumi growled in response to Ayaka's words. "You're sick," she said, and while it bothered her that this was the first time she'd spoken with her mother, Kasumi couldn't help but close her eyes and sighed as Ayaka raised an eyebrow. "Are you giving up?" Kasumi shook her head when she asked. "Whatever happens, Kasama, you are my mother, but I will not oppose Naruto-sama. He means more to me than anything else in the world," Kasumi said, and the two collided, causing the ground beneath their weight to tremble before they both felt a sudden rush of Kai. Ayaka smirked, and Kasumi turned her head to see Naruto cursing. "It appears he's getting serious," Ayaka said to her daughter, and Kasumi simply growled again. "Naruto is involved." The blonde narrowed his eyes as he wished he had his swords with him, but he looked to see Kobayashi, but he was different. His body was pitch black, his hair came down to his buttocks, and his eyes screamed murder as he snarled at Naruto. "Brat, welcome to the next level. Our chances of survival are bleak," Kobayashi said as he slammed Naruto in the face. The blonde gasped briefly before grabbing Kobayashi's arm, sneering lowly and holding out his hand, but Kobayashi smirked. "I'm sick of it," he said as he smacked Naruto across the plains with his tail, cackling before hearing a yell. "Naruto-kun," yelled Tsume, and when Kobayashi turned around to see Tsume and Kiramaru approaching, he snickered and had only one thought. Women should stay out of a man's fight, he reasoned, and soon Tobai appeared in front of Tsume, shaking his head. "Let's leave them alone," Tobai said, making a hand sign and enclosing Naruto, Kobayashi, Kasumi, and Ayaka in a barrier. Tsume and Kiramaru both growled. "What is your name?" Tsume growled as she slammed the barrier, but it didn't budge. Kiramaru asked, and before he could get an answer, Tobai left the scene with a smile. "Damn you all," Tsume yelled, unable to do anything but stare. "Together with Kasumi and Ayaka, so Kuro-chan is keeping an eye on us. That's all right with me. He hasn't changed at all," Kasumi huffed, growling and growling, but her legs were twitching and her mother was much faster than her. "So, what should I do? I haven't had enough training with Gai-sen to do anything else. My move hasn't even happened yet," Kasumi thought to herself, and then she heard a voice. "Then trust in me," it said, and Kasumi widened her eyes, looking around but seeing nothing and deciding to ignore it. Kasumi jumped in the air and quickly attempted to strike her mother, but Ayaka easily caught it and kicked Kasumi to the ground. "Not enough, girly," she said, and Kasumi huffed while her hair was a mess. Ayaka smiled and grabbed Kasumi by the collar. "Naruto-sama," Kasumi said loudly enough for the blonde to hear. "Kasumi," he yelled and quickly threw a kunai at Ayaka, which was easily parried by Kobayashi, who tried to hit the blonde, but Naruto's sand guard prevented it, and the blonde growled and closed his eyes. "Kyuubi-chan, release them," Naruto said, and Kyuubi's eyes narrowed. "Very well, but be careful," she said, and the blonde nodded. Kobayashi raised an eyebrow, but was slammed across the face by Naruto, who growled at him before kicking him into the air, and Naruto instantly vanished. "Let's get this over with," the blonde yelled as he grabbed Kobayashi by the hair and swung him around and around, then threw him to the ground and proceeded to punch the man left and right with his chakra-enforced fists. Kyuubi had just released Naruto's gravity seals that had hid his power of the long years of training. Naruto had never deactivated them once until this point. Naruto continued to propel Kobayashi towards the ground with a barrage of powerful punches, and the blonde kept going until he heard a whistle. Do you want her to die, Niboya? Naruto widened his eyes at Kasumi, who was struggling and tried to kick Ayaka, but she was met with a quick block. Kasumi-chan, Naruto said as he came to a halt, but Kobayashi's tail wrapped around Naruto's waist and slammed him into the ground. You scared me for a second, brat, Kobayashi said, and Naruto growled before being slammed across the face by Kobayashi's fist, which he took for Kasumi. Kasumi balled her fists as she watched her friend in trouble. Why can't I seem to win? I must save him. I'm not a wimp. I'd like to help Naruto-sama. Kasumi yelled in her head before hearing another. Then believe me. Ayaka watched her daughter's head fall to the right and wondered if she had passed out, but soon Kasumi's chest pumped. Once more, then twice more. Kasumi lifted her head and glared at her mother. Her emotions were completely locked with a serious expression. Ayaka raised an eyebrow before Kasumi's hair raised over her head. That won't work, she said as she raised her leg for a block, but she didn't notice the white chakra taking over Kasumi's leg as the girl slammed her mother through the blocked leg and sent her flying into the barrier, causing Ayaka to gasp and Kasumi to quirk her lips. Too slow, she said before disappearing as she slammed her mouth in her chin, causing her to skid across the ground. Ayaka gasped and wiped her cheek as Kasumi sighed before disappearing and reappearing behind her. HMPH, she said as she kicked Ayaka again, unconcerned about anything else, sending her flying through the fields and cursing before Kasumi held up her hand. A white fire glowed around it as she clenched it tight. I won't let you hurt Naruto-sama, Kasumi said, her eyes widening. Is that all? Before Kasumi kicked Kobayashi away from Naruto, she smiled and helped him to his feet. I'm sorry for being weak, Naruto-sama, Kasumi said, and Naruto chuckled as he patted her shoulder and kissed her on the cheek before shaking his head at her. Kasumi-chan is not present. That was incredible, Naruto said, and Kasumi simply smiled with a slightly impassive face, indicating that she was still very serious. Naruto turned around to face Kobayashi and smirked as he knocked Kasumi away, and quickly spun his body. Chitin, Naruto yelled, unleashing the ultimate defense against Kobayashi as it slammed into his body, sending the blonde flying while he huffed and crossed his fingers. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, yelled Naruto, and Kobayashi rose to his feet, surrounded by multiple clones of the blonde. That's all. Allow me to have some fun. He said this before going down on all fours. In Yuzuka Ryu, Gatsukamika, he yelled, and Naruto watched as his clones were overtaken by an unstoppable force, mentally cursing but quickly slamming his hands together. Naruto yelled Raisabakuri, and Kobayashi could only watch as the ground beneath him shot into the air in a giant tsunami of sand before engulfing him and dropping Naruto to the ground. He growled and quickly touched the ground. Mesabakuso, Naruto yelled as he cushioned the ground, causing it to compact on itself before slamming Kobayashi into nothingness. As his chakra was running low, the blonde huffed. He may be a Jinchuriki, but his overuse of techniques is catching up with him. Before she stopped, the dog girl was advancing on her mother without showing any emotion. Get lost, she said, raising an eyebrow at her words. Fighting you again would be a waste of time. I'm going to help Naruto-sama. I don't want to see you anymore, Kasumi said in her new, unusual tone. Ayaka's eyes narrowed as Kasumi leapt into the air and lifted her heel over her mother. T-Stenkyaku, Kasumi yelled, slamming the ground as Ayaka backflipped away, only to be kicked into the barrier by Kasumi. Ayaka gasped and dropped to her knees before passing out, that is, until she felt a new sensation in the air. Kasumi turned her head to see a dark aura emanating from the ground. A loud roar startled them both, and the ground exploded, forcing Naruto to back away from Kobayashi, or what he thought was Kobayashi. While his entire body was covered in fur, Naruto noticed Kobayashi's sick, twisted smile. He howled as his tail thrashed around violently. This is true power, yelled Kobayashi, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. What the hell happened to you? Naruto asked before turning and growling at Kobayashi. He charged straight at Naruto, and the blonde gasped. I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you. You'll die, and then that dog girl dies, and then Tsum dies. I'll make you regret messing with me, yelled Kobayashi, his mind lost to insanity. Naruto clenched his fists and clenched his eyes. No, you will not. I will not allow you to touch them. I will protect what is important to me right now. I am the Rokudame Hokage of Konoha. I am the head of the Uzumaki Namikaze and Yuzuka clan. I will protect everyone, Naruto said, his eyes flashing. Immediately, a red fire engulfed him, and his desire to protect his village grew stronger. As Naruto's eyes flashed the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Kobayashi growled or snarled. A figure with a sword and a shield appeared behind him. It quickly engulfed him as its 9 tails thrashed about. "What is this trick?" Kobayashi inquired, and Naruto narrowed his eyes. "No trick, Kobayashi team. This is the first time I've used it. But Kyuubi-chan says this is the Susanoo," Naruto said, his chakra dangerously flaring. Kobayashi growled and clawed at the earth. "It's all meaningless against my 3rd stage, I'll finish you," Kobayashi yelled as he charged at the blonde. Susanoo, Naruto's shield, quickly defended the blonde and blocked the attack, sending Kobayashi back. The Inuzuka slashed at the shield, trying to get to Naruto, but the blonde only looked at him with sympathy. "Someone like you could never beat me," Naruto said as Kobayashi's rage allowed him to meet the blonde's gaze. People on the way could only watch as Kobayashi fell to the ground and the barrier disintegrated. Naruto huffed, and Susanoo vanished. It's a shame he couldn't show it off, but he'll take what he can get. "Are you okay, Naruto-kun?" Sume inquired, but all she got was a slump as Naruto lay unconscious. Kasumi had remained the same since the white fire had vanished from her body. Sume ordered, "Haku, get a medic now." Haku nodded and ran away. Everyone seemed too preoccupied with their Hokage and his companion to notice that Ayaka had vanished. Along with Ayaka, the woman cursed and huffed as she leaned against a tree. Ayaka growled as Tobai appeared behind her. Tobai smirked as Ayaka said, "She has it. Kasumi has your stupid light thing." He nodded, and Ayaka was knocked out and transported away before she could move. "So Konoha is still the same damn place it was when I attacked. Okay, now I can make the necessary plans for its extraction," Tobai said before disappearing from view. Using Taki as a messenger. "Does everything look ready?" "Yes, sir. Konoha will have no idea what hit it as we reclaim the Nanabi Jinchuriki. I can't wait to see their expressions," someone said before another smacked him across the head. "Pay attention, whelp. We have to get down to business. We'll be there in 2 days," someone else said, and someone gulped. "But we're up against one of the 5 great nations. We can't win," he said, to which the others snickered and laughed. "Oh, you have little faith. We have our water with us as well." "Don't worry about it," they said before disappearing from view. Konoha's problems had only just begun.
So this was it for today. I will continue the story next part. Till then, we weave offline.